Hey, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Creating Your Desired Life. Listen, God has placed such wonderful things in us that everything that we need to live a successful and whole life is already built into us. And so He's given us the power to create our desired life. Here's the question. What life do you want to create? And how can you begin to create that life? Today, I'm so super excited to have my very special guest, Dr. Caroline Emmett. Dr. Caroline and I met, honestly, we met last year, but it wasn't until a few weeks ago that we really began to have a deep, powerful conversation about the mind and how the mind can heal us and how powerful our mind is. Dr. Caroline is a neuroscientist. She has a powerful story that I'm excited for her to share, which is why this particular show is entitled From Neuroscience to Neuropatient: How the Mind Can Heal You. How the Mind Can Heal You. I have to tell y'all that on my journey, especially in personal development and just changing some things in my life that really aligns with my very core values and my core belief system. As I began to really deep dive into that, deep dive into self-healing and the power of the mind, I found that, listen, our mind, our subconscious mind really controls so much that we do. And we as human beings, if you've did any level of research, knows that we do not use all of our mind. As a matter of fact, we use a very limited amount. And when we find out how powerful the mind is, I know we've heard slogans, the mind is a terrible thing to waste. It is so true. The mind is a terrible thing to waste. I know that we've heard different things about the mind, but have you ever taken the time to really deep dive into the power of your mind and how your mind can really heal you? There's a saying that I absolutely love: to be transformed by the renewing of the mind. That for transformation to begin, for transformation to start, that is number one, continual, it's transforming, but it's by renewing your mind. And so here is this: how in the world can we begin to even renew our mind? And maybe your question is, why does my mind even need to be renewed? Well, if you're like me, I found that there's some things that happened in my life. There's trauma. There's maybe from childhood or from work, or even if you're a religious person, it could be from church or from the synagogue, from wherever, from our family, our culture. There's so many things that have happened to us. And guess what, y'all? You may think, oh, that's years ago, I don't think about that. It's still there. It is still in your subconscious mind. And believe it or not, it really affects how much healing that you receive and where you're going. It affects how you show up. And today our conversation with Dr. Caroline is going to shed a little light, and she's going to share her powerful story from, here's a neuroscience needing neuro healing, right? Becoming a neuro patient. So let's give her some love. Let's welcome Dr. Caroline Emmett. Come on, y'all. Let's give her some love.
Hey.
Hey, Dr. Caroline. How are you? How are you?
Dr. Esther.
I'm so super excited. Dr. Caroline have been talking, and I've told her, listen, when I'm listening to her, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's just so much I need to know about the mind. She blows my mind when I'm with just the information that I can just take and utilize it, put it to use in my own life. And that's what we want you guys to do. I want you to get your journals out, get everything out, take your notes, because stay tuned for a powerful conversation. Dr. Caroline, please introduce yourself. Tell us what you're doing in the world and begin to share your story with us.
Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Caroline Emmett. I am, as Esther said, I am a neuroscientist. I was trained in England at a prestigious company group there, and I actually focused on brain regeneration or repair following trauma. So I I really was looking at how the brain could heal following trauma or uh, after regeneration. And so I went from there and I came to America, came to UCSF, and I was looking at, again, repair and regeneration following trauma. When I was there in UCSF, I got headhunted into a bioscience pharmaceutical group, and I set up a group that was focusing on regeneration in Alzheimer's and stroke, stuff like that. So I was doing really well. I was one of those high flyers doing all the research and working in bioscience and all kinds of stuff like that. Then in 1993, I think about then, I actually suffered a life-changing health event for me. And basically, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. So that's why Dr. Esther's calling it neuroscientist to neuropatient, because suddenly I understood that my brain was on the fritz, that it was actually not healthy, not looking after itself at all. And I had a pretty significant event. And I am here with Dr. Esther now to tell you that there's a possibility for healing following something like that.
Yeah. What I love, Dr. Caroline, is when you and I talked several weeks ago, one of the things that just really struck me is when you said, you talked about, what you were diagnosed with. And then you said, which I think is so powerful, you said the physician gave you the diagnosis, this is it, and this is how just life is going to be for you, and so you just have to, deal with it. You're not going to talk again. Is that right? You're not going to.
Yeah.
You're not.
So what happened was I gradually I lost my ability to walk.
Yeah.
I lost my ability. Actually, I couldn't really see very well.
Yeah.
And actually, I lost my hearing. And so actually, it was like all of my brain was just shutting down.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it was scary.
Yeah. And so I wanted you to say that again, because I want people to hear that she's a neuroscientist, right? And so here it is now, her brain is shutting down. But when you were sharing your story with me, when you said this, you made a decision. You said, when the doctor and all these things are happening, you said, no, this is not happening to me. And you made up your mind.
Yeah, I did. I
You made
absolutely
up
did.
your mind that this is not how you're going to live. And then what did you do? Like, this is like, are you serious? Because so many people, they get a diagnosis and they accept it as reality. This is it. I'm just going to live out my life and then die. But you said, no, not happening. Not happening.
No. But I have to also put the preface in there, because you're exactly right. But I have to also acknowledge that I did go through a period of mourning for what I was, mourning for what the future looked like for me. I think that has to be part of it, where you have to just acknowledge, first of all, that something life-changing is happening for you. Yes. And that you're going to go through some of those experiences. And it's perfectly okay to do that, right? At the end of it, I did exactly what you said. I was like, okay, this looks really sucky. It's like, I knew that my brain had basically kind of shut down.
Yeah.
I also went, but there's a different way. I know that I can do something differently. I am not just going to accept what I would see as being the prognosis, which is permanent paralysis, not being able to talk, whatever. But I had to go through the process of mourning first.
Yeah.
And out of it saying, nope, that's not going to be me. That's not who I'm going to be.
Yeah. I love what you're saying, because I think many times when we do get a diagnosis and we take it and we accept what the doctor says. I think one of the reasons that we accept it and we just come to the conclusion, this is my life, is because we don't lean in to what the doctor said and to mourn it. right? And mourning should only last for a period. I mean, we're human beings, of course. Of course, you're not saying, "Oh yeah, I'm not." No, you're going to go through and say, oh my God."
Yeah. Yeah. And that's
Yeah,
really okay. And in fact,
it
I actually
is.
believe that that's actually something that the brain needs to have available to it as well. It
Mhm.
needs to have that component of acknowledgement that, yeah,
Yeah,
this
I
is
agree.
something that's
Yeah.
happening,
Yeah, I need to
right?
acknowledge this is where I am. I need to
Yeah.
acknowledge this is what the doctor said and this is what's going on. And so now that I've acknowledged it, I've leaned into it. Let me go through this mourning process right here. And now I'm finished with the mourning.
Yeah.
This is what,
Now what?
and I think
What's
when
next?
people accept that this is it and they're just going to die, that's when they mourn the entire time. Does that make
Right.
sense?
I
Like
agree with you.
they're,
And because fortunately I had the science background,
yeah,
I was aware that there's possibilities. Sometimes someone is not in that place where they know there's a possibility for healing yourself. They
yeah,
think, or they assume that there's no option for them. I at least had that available to me where I went, you know, I think there's something better out there for me. I
yeah,
think that this can be different,
yeah, yeah.
right? So I was grateful that I had that at least
Yeah.
as a
So
background.
so how do we help the person? And especially the person who's listening, and maybe they just got a diagnosis and if it's not health, maybe it's something else, maybe
Hmm.
they're still struggling with the past trauma and, just all of these different things as life would have it. Where would they start to realize? Because they're not neuroscientists. Like, for
Hmm.
me, for example, I'm not a neuroscientist. Thank God I don't think I'm that smart to be a neuroscientist or anything. But
Hmm.
but I love studying the brain because I know when I became aware how much the brain has so much power and how much it affects everything
Hmm.
that I do my whole entire life, I kind of just began to study some things, but not everybody's going to do that. So, how
Mm.
then, Dr. Caroline, can that person say, wait a minute, let me begin to look at this? What's going on here? How can I heal myself?
Actually, you pinned it. It's a very significant decision for your brain to basically say, what is that? What else is out there? What other opportunities can I have to enable myself to help my healing journey? You have to have your mind make that decision first before you can start to really investigate whether other opportunities there are. Because if your brain is not committed to it, it's not going to send the message to the rest of your body that
Ah,
something that there's things that you can do to help yourself,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
If you are in that place of resignation mentally, then you're not open to the possibility that there is possibilities. Do you
yeah,
see
yeah.
what I mean by
Yeah.
that?
I
So
love what you just
it's
said
like a
too.
huge mental step,
Yeah,
right? I
yeah,
think,
yeah.
right?
So,
And
but
it can look differently for different people, but
yeah,
however that's going to look, the old noggin up here has got to allow it to kind of process it and go, I think there's something else out there.
yeah,
It's some people take longer than others, or some people go a different route, but that, like, to me, was a big step where I went like, no, 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 not
yeah,
up for that, right? And you have to be committed.
yeah. I love what you said about, you have to be committed and it's your brain that sends signals to the rest of your body. So if you've already given up, the signal is going to the rest of your body that says, okay, we're done here.
Yeah, it's a very powerful thing. The communication between the brain and the heart and the rest of the body, very powerful thing. You can't do one without the other.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
you can try and heal all of this, but if this isn't being committed, I don't think that it's going to be as effective.
yeah,
To
yeah,
me, I don't think so.
yeah.
So I
I agree
think
with you.
it has to.
Hold on one second, everyone. We are having just a little bit of technical difficulties. Are you back, Dr. Caroline?
Oh, I'm here. I'm here.
All right, great. Go ahead. What
Yeah.
you were saying, you paused for a
I,
moment. So let's go back.
I just think that it's all connected, and that we have to acknowledge both parts. You can't heal this part if this is saying no.
Yeah.
And if this is saying yes, then you can find ways to maybe help the
Yeah.
rest of it, you know?
I talk a lot about, like that from the brain to the heart, it's just 13 inches, I believe it's correct, 13 inches. And when we're talking about the brain and the mind, and then we're talking about the heart, and you said, it's telling, but the brain, there's a translation where the heart is the mind as well. It's just another, and so how much they are connected, right? And so when you're thinking about, yeah, if I could just train my brain and say, this is what I'm going to do. Listen, our subconscious mind, is it 10% of what we're doing is in the conscious mind, right?
Yes,
But
I can't. Yeah.
everything else is in this. And really, it's the subconscious mind that controls everything that we do. It's not the
And we're
conscious
not
mind.
aware of that, right? We're not aware of that at
No,
all.
we're not.
No. And so I think that's the other part of it is
Yeah.
sitting with yourself a little bit to really kind of bring some things through for you.
Yeah.
That really helped. I mean, looking back on it, to your point, I had a pretty steep learning curve for me to understand what things I needed to let go of emotionally, mentally, whatever,
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
enable myself to then move forward and heal.
Yeah. So
Right.
how did you begin to do that? Like after you got the diagnosis, after you went through the mourning period and you said, okay, no, this is not happening. What did you begin to do? Or what people who are watching our audience who are watching, what can they begin to do?
So I never say that you shouldn't listen to the medical environment, because that really helped me at the beginning. But I think there's another component that is going hand in hand with that, is that it's starting to listen and acknowledge the things about yourself internally, and listening to your own body and some of the messages that your body might be telling you that can help you with the healing process. So I think that they can come hand in hand. So I think that a lot of people haven't allowed themselves to listen to what's happening within their body and taking that on board and
Yeah.
going, okay, maybe this is something I should be doing, right? So I started to, I know, meditate, whatever, but just kind of allowing myself the time and the space to just see what was happening with the rest of my body, and having it being heard by my mind,
Yeah.
and along with the interaction with the medical profession. And
Yeah.
the two coming together enabled me to grow.
To grow. I know that I believe in doing body scans. I teach it a lot where you're doing a body scan. In other words, for example, you can wake up in the morning and you may be laying down or whatever, and just do a quick body scan where you can really feel what is going on in my body. How is it feeling? Is there a pain? Is there something? And then begin to listen to what your body is telling you.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I think is incredibly powerful if you allow it to be,
Yeah.
right? Now, I don't know how that translates for everybody, but for me, um, I mean, I started to listen to my body when it said, maybe you should start to try and move your legs.
Yeah.
Maybe, just, and then those allowing to be in gratitude for like small victories, like, oh
Yeah.
my God, I moved my legs today, or
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
put my foot out on the floor. Just those small steps. And again, it's a loop. It feeds
Yeah.
back, and
And
your
it
brain goes,
sounds like what you're
woohoo,
saying is, yeah, it
it's
sounds like
doing it.
what you're saying is that you began to train your brain,
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. I think you're right.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah, you began to train your brain. In other words, because we have to do that if we're going to create new pathways, right? This
absolutely.
is something that must be consistent. And really, we've got to train it every day on a daily basis. So, what I hear you saying is that when you begin to look and say, "Wait, my feet can move. Oh, it moved a little." And so, here's today, it moved. Tomorrow, oh, it moved again. And you keep trying to move. oh yeah, no, let's move this. Let's do this.
Mhm,
Let's do this.
mhm.
You're really training your brain, which then communicates to the rest of
Yeah,
your body. I like to say you're training your brain, meaning your subconscious mind, right? You're creating those neural pathways, which automatically goes to your heart. So you're kind of doing the thing because I now believe in my heart, which then connects to my mind that I can do this. I can
yeah,
heal myself.
yeah. However that's gonna look for whoever,
However, yeah,
just let it be,
yes,
And
yes,
my journey to I consider myself in good radiant health now. Um, I don't know everybody's journey is going to be specific,
yeah,
unique, and beautifully individual.
yeah,
But if you can allow yourself those small victories, if you can allow yourself to acknowledge when you have those things, it can be nothing but positive, in my opinion.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, so that was a big thing for me to kind
yeah,
of allow myself also to not judge that it wasn't big steps, but little ones
yeah,
sometimes, again, reinforcing to the mind is like, no, I'm not taking this big leap, but look what I've done here with
yeah.
this,
And
right?
celebrating
Yeah,
the little step.
yeah,
But it does start with your determination to do it,
agreed. So that's
right?
what I'm saying. I think maybe yeah, I was just a little bit ornery. It's like, hell no, no one's
Yeah,
going to tell me that this is going to be my outcome. So I
yeah,
had a little bit of that about me, and I had a determination, exactly to your point, that I
yeah,
was going to prove them wrong.
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, there's a little bit of that in me now. Not everyone's
Maybe,
going to
and
be that
maybe that
way.
little bit of that is good because you've proved them wrong. And how many, this was what, 20 years ago,
Yeah,
where you were,
yeah,
and
yeah,
here you are, Dr. Caroline. I've seen her, y'all. She's walking, she's talking, she's seeing, she's hearing, and one would never know. I did until she shared her story. I would have never known that you were once a
yeah. In
neuro
a bad
patient,
state.
Yeah. I
I
just think
know, I
it's,
know. And I am forever grateful, and that's another part of it. And I know that
yeah,
that's very much part of what you believe in is
yeah,
having gratitude,
yeah,
for this, because I think having that as an acknowledgement, look,
yeah,
I'm so grateful that this is how it came out for me, you
yeah,
know? And I
yeah.
had to learn all these things because, like I said, I was a AAA personality, in the pharmaceutical industry, rocking and rolling. I didn't have time for any of this. This was it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
crazy making,
Oh, time to be sick. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like that's not no, I'm not doing that, not right now. That's not happening, So I
yeah,
had to learn. I no, I not had to. I actually this is another point, isn't it? Making a choice. What is your choice? Do you choose to look at it in a different way,
yeah.
right? So I had to make a choice to let all that AAA personality go. That was not an easy thing for me to do,
Mhm.
but I
Yeah,
recognized that I had to release that,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because this was go, 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 go,
yeah,
right? And it was my body was like, no, don't think so. You have to slow down.
yeah, yeah.
That was a hard lesson for me.
I was going to say that's a really good point that you're making because it was a hard lesson for you, but I think it's a hard lesson for many people with whatever their illness may be or their circumstance may be, whatever they're facing. It's a hard lesson to say, let me just slow down. Let me take a look at this. Let me admit this. Let me admit, okay, this is what's going on with me right now,
Yeah, yeah,
and I need to embrace it. I need to face it. And then I need to take some methodical
action.
or some
Mhm.
action towards it. And the
Mhm.
bottom line is that your perception is your reality, right?
Yes.
So if I perceive it as this is exactly what it's going to be. But
Yep.
if I can change my perception of it and see it differently, this is what I'm going to bring up about in my life. People talk about manifestation, and now that's a big word that's going on now. People are saying, oh, I'm manifesting this, I'm manifesting that. That's been around for ages, right? Because manifestation comes from your mind and what you believe. So you can manifest negative or you can manifest good.
Right.
And
Right.
really the choice is yours
Exactly.
based, The choice is yours based on your perception, based on so many things, your core values, everything. What is it that you want?
Right.
This is why I love creating your desired life, because I think that the power lies within us to create the life that we want. Not, we many times, Dr. Caroline, we focus on the life that we don't want. You could have easily said, well, I don't want to be sick, but that did not bring you your healing. Really having your mind saying to you, I don't want to be sick, did not bring you your healing. That's in full manifestation. You have walked it out. Saying, I want is what brought it. This is what
Yeah.
I want.
Yeah. I choose to do
Yeah.
something differently
You
with this.
choose to do something about it.
Yeah.
And that is it. There's a test. I think you and I spoke about it. And I have to find out exactly where I saw this research, honestly. It's an Asian research that was done with elderly Asian. And there was a group that had the placebo, and there was a group that actually had cancer. And I remember I said that they don't
Mm-hmm.
tell, there's a practice, they don't tell their loved ones if they really are diagnosed with cancer. And the reason they don't tell them that is because of the mind. They want them to live. Right.
Isn't that
And so,
fascinating?
isn't that fascinating? And if they told them that they have cancer, blah, 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 their mind automatically goes, they have cancer, they're going to die. And it's hard to shift that. And so they die. And in the study, for those, and I'm just kind of paraphrasing it, and I have to really look it back to where I saw it, to where I could reference where it actually came from. But if they did not tell them they had cancer, for the group that did have cancer, they told them, you do not have cancer, you're perfectly fine, you're this. Guess what? Their cancer was healed. Their mind did not go to, I've got cancer and I'm going to die and this is what's going to happen. Their
Yeah.
mindset was, your health is great. Let's do these things to continue with your good health.
Right.
Whoa.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not that they didn't feel maybe the aches and the pains in their body. No, they're seeing all of these things, but their mind was that, oh, I'm feeling this. Yes, this has happened, but this is who I am. This is where I am. I don't have cancer. So this is going to be healed. This is healed. That does make a big difference, doesn't it?
It makes a huge difference. Yeah. I mean, when I was doing the pharmaceutical studies, we always had to have the placebo in.
Yeah.
And it was amazing the percentage of placebo recipients in studies that
Yeah.
actually are healed. They're
Yeah.
not taking anything,
Yeah.
but the belief is that they were taking something. Therefore, it worked. Therefore, whatever happened went away, right?
Yeah.
There is a tremendous placebo effect in many of these things. So that's another example. It's exactly why you do it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's amazing if there is a belief that you can heal yourself.
Mm.
I believe it improves the probability that you can.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
It
mean,
really does.
if this isn't on board, it's not likely to
Hang it
be
up.
as effective,
Yeah. And
Yes, all the medical intervention, yes, but I think they have to work together. You can't, I think it's
100%.
best to have both aspects,
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like a 1-2 punch,
Yeah, 100%.
you know?
You have to. And it's not saying too, by the way, that, you shouldn't believe what the medical professionals are. It's
No,
not saying that at all. Yeah, you go to the doctor, you hear what they're saying, but your mind plays a role.
absolutely.
Your mind plays a role in your healing, in your life. And this isn't just physical healing. This is in every area of your life. Your
Agreed.
mind plays a role in how you live, what you do, what you don't do, the heights that you reach, how you feel or think about yourself. What is
Yep.
manifesting in your life is based on what your belief is, right? It's
Hmm.
based on what your belief is, which
Yeah.
of course is in the mind. So powerful. I know
Yeah.
that you have a quote, so share with us your quote, please. Yeah.
Okay. It's follow your heart, but take your brain with you.
Ah.
It's like,
I love
that's
it.
like perfect because it's
Yeah.
exactly what it should be.
Yeah. Follow
you know,
your heart, but take your brain with you.
with you.
Tell us,
I
yeah,
mean, it's like you have to have the whole. We're a whole organism. You can't kind of separate the two out. You
yeah,
have to have both of the aspects, right?
yeah,
And I think that can help in whatever healing journey you're on,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And again, it's hard to know how it manifests for you, that healing journey, but at least you increase the opportunity that you'll have an easier route with it, I don't
yeah.
know.
Yeah,
So
no, it will. I mean, again, what we're sharing here is everyone is in choice. And
very
so,
much.
wherever you are in creating your desired life, your brain plays, I was going to say an enormous role. It plays the role. And if that's in an alignment with everything else, it's not going to be much, but you get to choose. And so, yeah, you follow your heart, which you should, but take your brain with you, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because,
And this is speaking from a neuroscientist perspective, so I'm
yeah.
with it on that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
you know?
Very much
Yeah.
so. So, Dr. Caroline, how can someone reach you? How can someone, have deeper conversations with you about their
I
brain,
would
what's going on in
love
their
if
life?
so I have an email that they could just contact with me directly, and I'd
Yes.
love to then be able to just and they like chat with them, talk with them, and that's just is healing with Dr. C at gmail.com, and then they can just shoot me a line, and I'd love to be able to have a conversation with them. I really would,
And when you shoot her that line, healing with Dr. C at
doc at
Gmail. Dot
gmail.com.
com.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure that you let her know where you heard her speaking on the Creating Your Desired Life TV show. So make sure so she would have a reference point. But make sure that if you're a person and you are, you're on this healing path. I think about, by the way, Dr. Caroline, before we close, before I let you go. The other day I was listening to the documentary on Superman, Christopher Reeves.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of what went through in his life and what he was able to accomplish before he passed it really had to do with his brain. They, with amazing. We just underestimate the power of the mind. And if we could just grab a hold of that, can you imagine our
Yeah.
lives? Physician, heal yourself, heal
Mm-hmm.
yourself.
Yeah, it's a powerful tech tool. The mind is a powerful tool, I'm telling you.
So as we let you go, what's the one thing that you would like to share with our audience to say, if you want healing, if you want to see a shift, what can they do? Like, boom, I could say, I could start this right now and I could create a new pathway.
Well, I think that you have to have grace for yourself.
Yeah.
Allow the body to heal the way that it has to heal in the timeline that it has to heal in. Have some grace for yourself. Allow it just to unfold the way it has to unfold, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really what you have to do. Have some grace.
Have some grace. I love it. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Caroline. We're going to take what Dr. Caroline has spoken to us, her quote. And if you're aware, you've got your journal. Y'all know if you're listening to this show all the time, I like for you to get your journals out and I like for you to write things down, because at the end of the show, part of the goal is that you begin to take that and you begin to, let's say, meditate on it, think on it, and look to see where you could apply what you're hearing to your life on a daily basis to create new neural pathways, to create your desired life. In other words, to create the life that you want, realizing that you are worthy and that there is more for you. So let's go into some self-reflection right now. And as you're self-reflecting, I want you to begin to write down, where is it that you could use healing? Where is it in your mind that your perception that needs to change? And I want you to begin to write this down. What is it that you want? What are you choosing for yourself today? So take a moment, think about it, and write it down. Let's do some quick self-reflection. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. I just want to take a moment and invite you to the Life by Design retreat. This is a retreat that's transformational. It's a retreat where you get an opportunity to reset, redesign, come into alignment, or come into alignment even more. This is a retreat where you make powerful connection. A retreat to where if you've lost your voice, you find your voice. A retreat that goes into deep soul work, deep work. It goes into deep mind work. We begin to look at what does transformation look like and how, not how can you live your best life, because your life is good, right? But how can your life be even on the path to exactly what you want it to be? So I want you to join me, my team, and the many other people that are coming to the Life by Design retreat, May 12th through the 19th. And if you would like more information, make sure that you reach out to me and at the email that will be played at the end, or look on social media and join us for the Life by Design retreat in Cartagena, Colombia. I can't wait to see you there. Self-reflection. I hope that you've spent the time just looking at what is the life that you want to create. As we're fully into year 2025, what does your end of the year look like for you? What do you want it to look like today and every day? You get to choose your healing. You get to choose how you're going to be healed. You get to choose how you're going to live. And I want you to not think about what you don't want. I want you to think about what you do want and begin to train your brain, right, on what you do want. Because when you begin to do that, then you'll begin to achieve what you want. When we can shift our mindset to where now this is what I want, then what will happen is that it will come to you. So I really want to encourage you to do that. I am so excited, so glad that you made the decision to join me today. I can't wait to see you next time. Thank you, Dr. Caroline Emmett, for such a powerful conversation, y'all. We're going to be doing a part 2. She will be coming back again, and we're going to even go deeper. Why? Because it's so important for us to learn how we could train our brain to help us to create the desired life, create the life that we want. But first, we must know, what do you want? What do you want? So I can't wait to see you. Until next time. God bless. Have a great week on purpose.